I was at my lowest point and I cried out, Jesus, if you're real, please make yourself real to me. Please just help me. Instantly, the biggest rush of peace, love, joy, contentment that I've ever felt. I felt so much peace. I felt so much peace, man. I can't explain to you how good it feels. 3 years ago, I tried to end my life. I was depressed, anxious, lonely, angry. I was traumatized. I saw no way out. I escaped that hell by finding God and getting on self-improvement, only to fall down the hell again when life got crazy. Now I am changing my life for good and teaching everything I've learned along the way. I think I forgot how to deadlift. Well, my clip-on microphone is not working today. I brought it, it's not working. It was working fine yesterday when I used it, but today it is not working. So unfortunately, we will have to take the L and do another voiceover. Or I can just awkwardly come up to the camera every single time like this in front of the whole gym, very loud, so you can hear me. But right now I'm doing deadlifts. They don't feel very good. It's been like a whole year and a half since I've actually done them like legit. So it's not looking good. So my old PR for deadlifts is not very high. It was like 355, 365. Today I don't think we're going past 2 plates. Also because of time constraints, we're probably gonna be doing only deadlifts and squats. No isolation exercises. We'll just do those on Friday. It is currently about 5:15 a.m. We're coming back from the gym, and now it is prayer, meditation, Bible time. Something that I always liked to do when I had prayer time in the morning was come to an empty parking lot. I don't know why, it's been like a tradition for me. Something I used to do when I lived back home. I went to the same coffee shop every morning at 7 a.m. to work. But I would get there at 5:30 or 5 o'clock and just pray and pray and pray and read my Bible and just pray until it was 7 o'clock and the doors opened up, and then I went inside and had a coffee and sat down and did my work. But really quickly, before I start my prayer, I want to go over how the last couple days have been. So today is day 2 of this new life journey where I am on self-improvement. I am also chasing God and chasing spiritual self-improvement, but I am also broadcasting it to the world. So every fault, every mistake, I am going to be sharing. One mistake that happened yesterday was not realizing how long it would take to actually edit this video. It ended up taking like 6 hours. So basically 4:30 when I got off work to about 11:30. So that's like 7 hours. And I got very little sleep because obviously we wake up at 4 a.m. So I am exhausted, but even more so, my wife is terribly exhausted and in pain and sore because she doesn't usually work out. I don't think she's making breakfast this morning. I think she's just gonna go back to sleep. What do I do now? I don't know. I will probably just have to cook breakfast because I am very poor. I have to pay rent this month, and I am actually very short on money because of all the bills I had to pay. Today's gonna be a hard one. Day 2 usually is. But we're going to try our best to do as many of the habits as possible. Yesterday was a bit of an L. I don't want to start 0 for 2. I want to actually have a good day and be on track. Yesterday was a good day, don't get me wrong. It just wasn't very optimized, which is a topic for another day because optimizing isn't always like the most important thing. Sometimes working is just the important thing. Sometimes the rough, rugged, like hard work, discipline, doing the stuff you don't want to do, sometimes that's more important than the over optimization of your life. Oh, meditation. Oh, don't have caffeine 90 minutes after breakfast. Like my wife brought up yesterday. With that being said, I'm going to go and get into prayer. I may or may not record this part. I might voice over. I don't know. Enjoy the sunrise in the background. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start praying. I ended up deciding not to put the prayer in the video because it's just really long and I didn't see a point in putting it in the video. But here I am, I'm praying, and I do a little bit of meditation. I do a little bit of reading the Bible out of Job, and I might keep that part in, I'm not sure. But once we're done with prayer here, I'm going to go ahead and go do some focus work, edit the video as much as I can for about an hour. Of course, cook breakfast, take my supplements, do all those kind of things. At this point, I'm just doing a bunch of random habits and chores before I have to go to work. I'm running the dishwasher, doing gratitude journaling, I'm making my creatine and Celsius concoction. And then I'm taking the garbage out, and then taking my supplements, and yeah. Okay, so Cassidy's sleeping, so I don't want to be too loud, but I'm taking my supplements. It is about 7:40, and it is about time to go to work, so I'm going to be taking these, eating breakfast, and then going to work, and then I'll see you guys afterwards. Pretty easy day. You've all seen my intro by now where I mentioned that I tried to unalive myself 3 years ago. And so I want to take the opportunity in this video to actually explain my full testimony, my full story of my life from the beginning to up till now. And of course, talk about my unaliving attempt, talk about my journey with self-improvement, my journey with finding God and coming to Jesus Christ, which is crazy because for those that don't know, for those who are new, I was born Muslim and I was raised super atheist. I was born into a Muslim family. My dad is Muslim, my stepmom is Muslim, very hardcore Muslim, but I was raised not by them, by the world, and it was very, very atheist, very, very dark. I was a very, very negative person at one point in my life, very evil, very hateful, very bitter, very, very atheist. I did not believe in God. I thought God was silly. I don't know why you would need to believe in God. I didn't understand it at all. I thought it was dumb. But deep down, I knew that there had to be something more spiritually, and I didn't know what that was. I tried Islam. I tried New Age. I tried watching like those little spiritual videos and tried getting into like all the spiritual stuff that there is out there. Didn't work. I ended up getting a little interested in Satanism. Still nothing. So I was born in 2004. I am 21 years old. I look at my like early age like very fondly, but also between the ages of me being a baby to 8 years old, my parents were fighting, arguing, and it got so bad at times where I thought the world was going to end. I thought somebody was going to die. It got so bad. There was a point where I believe I was 7 years old, and my mom, I just remember seeing my mom recording my dad, who was on the floor. I don't remember if he was crying or not. There was two different occurrences that this happened where my mom was recording my dad while he was on the floor and passed out, collapsed, we don't know. I don't want to get into the drama of it because I love both my parents. They're both amazing. But there was some really shady stuff going on. And essentially, they filed for divorce in 2012 when I was 8 years old. And from that point on, I never understood love. I thought this was going to be my future, was having to deal with this. And I didn't understand marriage. I didn't understand anything. I didn't understand what a relationship looks like. I was given my parents were never really, my dad was never really there for me mentally, emotionally. He was never there. He was absent. He never talked to me. He was always stone cold, never was there for me. My mom was overly there for me emotionally. I don't like getting into like the deep attachment style stuff because even though that stuff is all true, it feels a little corny, but I do have very bad avoidance tendencies that stem from that. A couple of years after they divorced in 2014, and by the way, for 2 years between 2012 and 2014, it was a back and forth custody battle. We had so many different homes, so many different places we were at. My mom was emotionally there, but physically she wasn't. My dad was, but physically she wasn't there. The house got overcrowded. The house became a hoarder home. It was unlivable. We weren't eating, and it was miserable. My dad finally took custody of us, and we stayed with him until the end, until we moved out. And 2014, he remarried to my stepmom, who is from Jordan. My dad's also from Jordan. I'm half Jordanian, Palestinian, half white. And my stepmom very quickly became very, very abusive. She had a target specifically for me, and I don't know why, but she absolutely hated me. There was a couple times where she chased me around with a knife, and there was one time where she strangled me, and I kind of like swiped at her neck, cut her up, and then ran away. And I would always run to my best friend's house. My best friend, he was always there for me. We were friends since we were like 3 or 4 years old, playing together. And we lived in the same neighborhood. I would always go to his house. And when these things happened, I would always go to his house because it was like, that was kind of like my place of comfort, my place of stability. I knew what to expect when I was going to his house because it was just calm and predictable. My home, on the other hand, my life was unpredictable. I never knew if I was going to be safe. I was constantly in fight or flight as a kid. There was a couple times where she would threaten to kill me and threaten to kill herself after, kill the whole family. She would leave knives around threatening me, yell and scream and call me names in Arabic and beat us up, throw stuff at us, spit at us, call us names. And I would try to have friends over, but it was always embarrassing because of how she acted. Even that was her good side. Actually, my childhood best friend all these years later tells me like, yeah, I was uncomfortable being in your house. It was awkward, it was uncomfortable, I didn't like being there, that's why I was never over. So naturally, I never had friends growing up except for him because well, nobody could come over, nobody could hang out. I couldn't hang out with anybody. It was very difficult. Naturally, I'm a loner anyway, so I got 8 years old, 9 years old. I almost died of a rare disease, HSP, I think it is. I also had another disorder called trichotillomania, which up until very recently I still have dealt with and struggled with, but it was extremely bad from the ages of like 8 to like 14, 15, 16. So what trichotillomania is it's like impulsively pulling out your hair. It's an OCD disorder where you, as a response to stress or boredom or anxiety, you pull out your hair. For me, it was everything. It was my hair up here, it was my eyebrows, my eyelashes. It got to such a bad point to where I would have to go to school with no eyebrows, no eyelashes. I would have a patch right here missing of hair. I was quite literally a freak. And I don't want to play the victim game. I can't stand when people play the victim game and say they have all these disorders and things that they had to go through and trauma. I genuinely still deal with stuff because of what that did to me mentally. Going to school, no hair, no eyebrows. I did everything I could anxiously to avoid people noticing that I had no eyebrows, no eyelashes. But of course, eventually people notice and they would say, hey, you don't have eyebrows. Look, this kid doesn't have eyebrows. Why don't you have eyebrows? What that does to you mentally, trying to hide that from people, knowing that you look ridiculous. And what does that do to you? It makes you socially ridiculous. It makes you socially like inept. It makes you socially awkward. It makes it so you can't socialize with people, you can't make friends, you can't talk to people without overthinking to such a torturous degree. I've dealt with overthinking before on a general basis, but when you have this disorder and you're trying to talk to people, no eye contact, constantly looking away, constantly making sure your hair is hidden. I would wear hats because I wanted to hide the bald spot. Around the ages of like 11 to 12, it got a little bit better, but I still was picking at my hair. Sometimes I would go too far and pick my eyelashes out and half my eye would be missing eyelashes, and I would try my best to make sure nobody saw that angle of my eye. By the way, it is very hot out. It's like 90 degrees and I'm sweating like crazy. So if it looks like I'm sweating, if I look like I'm turning red, that's why. I remember my first ever relationship. I felt so self-conscious meeting her and talking to her and hanging out with her and doing typical stuff for a million different reasons, but the biggest reason is because of trichotillomania, because I had no eyelashes, sometimes no eyebrows. So I would avoid her. I would spend 3 hours trying to take the right snap on Snapchat. You remember Snapchat? I don't know if you guys still use Snapchat, but what that does to you mentally, man. And of course the relationship failed, it fell apart. She lost respect for me. Obviously, I avoided her for years. And now I'm happily married. Everything's perfect. It worked out the way it was supposed to. At this point, I'm 16, 17, 18 years old, and I have a lot of issues. A lot of issues. I was a broken person. I was hardcore atheist, hardcore, just bitter. I was bitter towards, if there was a God, I was bitter towards everybody. Resentful towards everybody that they got to live a normal life and I didn't. And I had to struggle. And I had to go through so many things, and I had to deal with so many things, and nobody understood me. Nobody gets what I had to go through. Nobody understands who I am deep down. Genuinely, there'd be days where I didn't talk to a single person. Weeks, maybe. When there wasn't school, when it was summertime, weeks, probably. So when I was recording this video, I unfortunately forgot to mention that in 2022, I tried to end my life, and I actually was almost successful, and it was a crazy experience. I'm gonna have to explain it in another video, but just know that in this little time period, I was actually really messed up, really depressed, and I actually tried to end my life. People would quite literally tell me that I looked like I had eyes that were broken. Like they could see the sadness in my eyes is actually more of what people would say. Which when somebody tells you that, it's like, how do you even respond to that? My childhood best friend, I'm still kind of friends with him, although I'm very self-isolating. He actually, out of nowhere, decides to invite me to his church. And I went to church one time when I was a kid. I was raised Muslim, like I mentioned. My friend wants me to go. I feel slightly pressured to say yes, but also I'm like, well, like, it's a social thing. I have nothing better to do on Sundays. I'm a depressed, lonely 18-year-old. Might have been 17 at the time. I think I was 17, actually. Depressed, lonely 17-year-old, nothing to do. I was like, okay, fine. Sunday morning, why not? Eventually it became a habit. 18th birthday comes around, still every Sunday going to church with my best friend. And I always felt like there was no way I could ever actually believe in this. It didn't make sense to me. How could Jesus be God? How could a human being be God? How could any of this actually make sense to me? Like, it just didn't make sense. Nobody ever helped me understand why this is something I should believe in. It was always the same answer. Oh, repent and believe in the gospel. Oh, Jesus, he is a man that turned water into wine, and he's also God, and you pray to him. And it's like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I was just very broken, very bitter. I couldn't receive whatever this was. Eventually, I went to a men's retreat, actually, with my best friend that was a part of this church. And the men's retreat was very, actually, like, shockingly self-improvement and like brotherhood focused. I guess it's not super surprising considering it's a men's retreat. Of course they're going to talk about stuff like that, but it just caught me off guard because I was like, wait, this is stuff that I'm actually into. This is stuff that I actually know will help me, and this also coincides with something spiritually. This also is a part of Christianity in a way. Like, oh, okay, interesting. And there was one sermon that the guy, his name is Craig, amazing guy. He was like an assistant pastor or something, and he preached it, and man, it was on brotherhood, it was on friendship, and how we never reach out and we never make friends, and we never had brotherhood in our lives, but we need it so desperately. I genuinely was sitting there in that retreat listening to this sermon, fighting back tears, trying not to show anybody that I'm genuinely about to break down and cry, because this was the best thing I ever heard. My Muslim dad kind of knew I was already going to church, but my stepmom found out. And essentially, I don't remember verbatim what she said, but essentially what I got from it is that if she comes back to the house from her vacation in Jordan and I'm still there, she will kill me. I tell my best friend about this and his family, and they decide instantly to take me in. Instantly they were like, you're coming with us. And they kind of already suspected this was going to happen because I was going to church with them. They knew that if my Muslim parents found out, that it would be game over. So they took me in. I lived with them for several months. That last quarter of 2022 with my best friend, amazing memories, amazing times, so many good memories. And also I was getting on self-improvement at this time. Sorry to go on a tangent, but this is kind of important. At this time in my life, I discovered a YouTuber named Hamza Ahmed. Hamza is a self-improvement YouTuber that you might have heard about. For a while there, he was getting into the spiritual side of self-improvement and the good habits that we're all supposed to be doing and delayed gratification. And instantly, I clung to this knowledge because I realized my life is all sorts of messed up. I actually need to eat healthy. I actually need to start going to a gym. Okay, so unfortunately, because it's summertime, my phone overheated when I was recording, so I have to completely redo this last part that I just recorded. I've clung to this knowledge because I knew that I needed to change my life. Otherwise, my trajectory is death, premature death, or a lifetime of misery. I understood this very clearly. I knew I had to make a change, and I was very motivated, and I wanted to hit the gym, and I wanted to do all these things. I wanted to be a man. And so I started doing that. I started working out. I started eating healthy, eating a lot of eggs in the morning. I started meditating in the morning, or at least trying to. Made a lot of gym progress, started getting really confident. And for the first time in my life, I actually felt like I was worth something. Like I felt like I was of value, and I felt like I was actually better. And I was addicted to this self-improvement. But unfortunately, the self-improvement quickly got corrupted by New Age because, well, I didn't have God, and I thought, well, manifestation, that's really cool. Grounding, wow, grounding's really good for you. I should do grounding. Oh, wow, nature's healing. This earth is so healing. Everything's alive. Everything's spiritual. It quickly got to a very dark place of spiritual, New Age, occultism, Satanism, all these different things mixed together. So self-improvement, living with my childhood best friend. He goes off to college, he goes off to university, no longer living at home. And obviously it's awkward. I'm not going to stay at his parents' house. And so we actually mutually agreed, although it wasn't even just a mutual agreement. They actually came up, his parents actually came up to me and said, hey, we love you. You're amazing. You didn't do anything wrong, but we think it's better if you just move on with your life. And I was like, okay, fine, I'm almost 19 years old, like maybe this is a good thing for me to be independent. But for several months I decided I was going to live in my car and be homeless, and was completely alone again. I kind of became reckless. I grew my hair out. I just became this reckless guy. I tried new age, didn't work, led me to this. I tried self-improvement, it worked, but it didn't work for me in this way, and it led me to this. There was something missing. Something was missing. This purpose, this fulfillment, this meaning, this spiritual hunger for something. I want to mention really quickly before we continue. When I was about 11 or 12, I had this dream of what I believe was heaven, where it was like all of God's attributes, where I felt 100% the most at peace, the most joy, the most love from something bigger than me, the most contentment, the most, all of these things I felt to the max. If you haven't seen my story of when I went to heaven, I'm going to go ahead and share it in another video, but that's kind of the quick synopsis. I didn't do anything as a cope from my problems, from my anxieties, from my stress. I didn't do anything to cope. I just sat there and took it. Truly believe this is what opened me up to the spiritual realm, because that same night, late night, crying out to God and just saying, Jesus, if you're real, please make yourself real to me. Please just help me. Please just, I just want to be better. I just want to feel better. And I cried. I'm not gonna lie, I cried for like hours. I was crying. Just, I want to be out of here. I just want help. If you're real, Lord, if you're real, Jesus, I want to believe in you. And instantly, the biggest rush of peace, love, joy, contentment that I've ever felt. And the reason why I know this was God was, well, for one, I credit to Jesus Christ, and I've been studying Jesus and going to church. For two, this was the same thing I felt in my dream when I was in heaven, when I was like 11 or 12. Same feelings, same exact like atmosphere. As somebody who barely believes in God, as somebody who doesn't understand it, as somebody who is not raised Christian at all, hardly even Muslim, this is completely new, and my life changed forever. I had the best few months of my life, just feeling so at peace, so motivated, so much energy. I literally felt lighter in my own body, and the crazy part is, my dream of heaven, I felt like light as a feather. But literally, I was holding on to baggage. I was literally weighted down by demonic oppression, by strongholds. I was literally being weighted down emotionally, mentally. You wonder why you're tired all the time? I wondered why I was tired all the time. But instantly, when I came to God for the months afterwards, I felt so light. I felt so much peace. I felt so much peace, man. I can't explain to you how good it feels to be with God and to actually be in the presence of God. If you're an atheist, man, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you that can make you believe. There's nothing I can tell you intellectually, emotionally, spiritually that can make you believe. I don't know what I would have said to younger me, but all I know is that if he would have experienced this, why would I fake this? Why would I try to get you to come to my church? Why would I tell you to... I don't care. I'm not like trying to reverse gatekeep this. I'm not trying to get you to all come join my religion, come believe in Jesus. I don't care. I don't care what you believe in. I just want you to go to heaven. I want you to feel this, feel the way I felt, feel good, feel at peace, feel content, to not hurt anymore, to not suffer, to not be in pain, to not suffer from trauma and mental strongholds, and to be sad and depressed, to unalive yourself, to suffer with anxiety and OCD, and to literally unalive yourself. I don't want that for you. I want you to find the reverse of that, the positive. My life's changed ever since. I now know that this is the spiritual reality of the world. There's good and bad. The good attributes come from God. The bad attributes come from the devil, which is a corruption of God's way. I know these things to be true now, but I never knew them growing up. I never understood that fact. Knowing that there's a light that you can gravitate towards, that you can like lay your head on and like relax and just go towards, and you'll feel at peace, you'll feel at home. Your tears will be wiped away, and you'll feel happy again. You'll actually want to live life again. You'll actually feel like you're alive again. You won't feel like you're dead inside. That's possible for you. Anyways, I don't want to go on for too long, but this is my testimony. This is my life. A year and a half ago, I met my now wife, and we're now married. We're living in a different city. I moved to a different city. Everything kind of went wrong for a while. I fell away from God. I fell away from self-improvement, from the habits. I stopped going to the gym. I stopped eating healthy. I started sabotaging and getting avoidant again and being negative and making my life worse and setting myself back with bad decisions. And here I am trying to change my life again and get better and do better and change it for good and to show the world that this is life. It's not easy, but we're all together. We're all along for the ride, and there is a way out. There is a way out of that hole. There is a way out of that depression, that anxiety. My wife's blowing up my phone because I have to go eat dinner and I need to edit this video. I'm gonna go over my goals. That's about it. So see you guys in a little bit. This download speed is painfully slow. It's gonna take forever to finish this video. I am exhausted right now. I have done a little bit of editing on this video, and right now it's just taking forever to download the clips for this video. Sundays, I'm not going to be recording. I decided on Sundays I'm not going to be recording at all whatsoever. These videos take hours to edit, hours to record, obviously, and takes a lot of planning, a lot of kind of putting the pieces together and making it look and kind of have some kind of aesthetic feel and just be decent. Yeah, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of time. I work a full-time job. I'm a husband. I don't have much time to waste. So I am literally on overdrive trying to get these videos out. So I will also probably be merging videos occasionally when there's just not enough clips recorded. If a day has been really hard or if I just didn't get enough clips for whatever reason, I'm probably going to be just mixing two videos together. This is already something that I haven't mentioned yet. But basically, I am not actually attempting a bulk or a cut right now. I've gained quite a bit of body fat, but also lost a lot of muscle. And honestly, I'd much rather just gain muscle and gain a little bit of body fat and kind of like even it out. So I'm just gonna try and get my muscle back. I'm gonna try and eat in a surplus. I don't think it'll be possible because of finances and because of, well, time, and the effort of trying to eat moderately clean. It is pretty hard to be a bodybuilder and to gain muscle and also be healthy and eat completely clean whole foods. It's not even really possible, to be honest, to do both. You're gonna sacrifice some growth in one area or the other. So I don't know how I'm gonna go about it, but right now at this very moment, I'm not bulking or cutting. As for the habit tracker, we have done pretty much all these today. So we have done the gym, obviously. I have done prayer. We have meditated, although it wasn't very super intentional, but during the prayer I did do meditation. Did read my Bible, read Job. Whole foods only, I believe we are in fact whole foods only. Worked on purpose, yep, these videos. That's gonna be pretty much a given. Learning block, I'm going to do actually right now. I am just finishing downloading those videos and doing a little bit more editing, a little bit more of menial tasks, and I'm gonna do learning block, probably watch a video on something, I don't know. I haven't planned it yet. I haven't really I'm supposed to technically be planning these the night before, what I'm gonna watch or what I'm gonna listen to or read, but I haven't been doing that. I'm gonna go ahead and check that off because I am definitely gonna do that. Gratitude, did that this morning, so gratitude is a check. And so that's all of them. Today we actually get a check. Today we are actually sitting at 50%. Probably not gonna be changing that every single day, but currently we are at 50%. If we get a check tomorrow, it's gonna be 67%. So it's gonna be above our goal. So it shouldn't be too difficult, honestly. This isn't a very difficult habit tracker. With that being said, I think I'm gonna close out this video and see you guys tomorrow. So I love you all and I hope you all have a good night. See you in the next one.